What if every night when you fall asleep, you're not creating a dream? What if you're visiting a real place? Stay with that for 1 second, because somewhere in your memory right now, there's a dream you still haven't forgotten, a place you've never been, a face you don't recognize but somehow already know, a feeling so real that for a few seconds after waking up, you weren't sure which world you were actually in. That confusion has a name, and it's stranger than you think. Here's the first problem. Some dreams don't feel like dreams at all. They feel more real than your actual life. Researchers studying dream phenomenology have found that certain dreams activate sensory and emotional brain regions just as intensely as waking experiences. Your brain, in some cases, cannot tell the difference. So ask yourself, if your brain can't tell the difference between dreaming and waking, how do you know which one you're in right now? Now here's where it gets stranger. Many people report dreaming about places they've never seen, not vague, foggy locations, specific places, detailed architecture, streets with consistent layouts. Some people have later visited real locations and felt an unsettling, inexplicable familiarity as though they'd walked those streets before, in another life or another night. Scientists call this déjà vu when it happens while awake, but what do you call it when it happens in a dream? Before you've ever been there. There's no confirmed explanation, just a question that refuses to go away. And then there's the recurring dream. Millions of people report having the exact same dream, sometimes for years, sometimes for their entire lives. The same hallway, the same falling sensation, the same person who shouldn't exist but somehow does every single time you close your eyes. Why would your brain replay the same scenario with the same details, the same logic, the same ending over and over again? Random neural noise doesn't explain precision. Precision suggests something closer to memory. But memory of what? Here's another question almost nobody asks. How does your brain build entire worlds instantly? Detailed cities, complex conversations, physics that almost make sense, entire social situations with strangers who react intelligently to things you say. Your conscious mind takes years to learn how to do that. Your dreaming mind does it in seconds, every single night, without effort. Neuroscientists studying REM sleep, the stage where most vivid dreaming occurs, have found intense activity in the brain's visual cortex, emotional centers, and memory networks, all firing in patterns that resemble waking consciousness but without the usual filters reality imposes. Which raises an unsettling thought. What if dreams aren't your brain inventing something? What if they're your brain accessing something? Now consider time. In dreams, minutes can feel like hours. Hours can feel like entire days. Some people report dreams that contained years of detailed experience, relationships, conversations, entire arcs of life, compressed into what was, in waking time, only 20 minutes of REM sleep. Time inside a dream doesn't behave the way it behaves out here. And once you accept that, you have to ask, if time can bend that dramatically in there, what else can? This is where lucid dreaming enters the story. Lucid dreaming, a scientifically documented state where the dreamer becomes aware they are dreaming. While still inside the dream, has been studied extensively. Researchers have confirmed through controlled sleep lab experiments that lucid dreamers can deliberately signal to researchers using prearranged eye movements, all while remaining fully asleep. This proves something remarkable. Consciousness can remain active, aware, and even communicative, while the body is completely shut down. So if awareness can persist independently of full bodily consciousness, the next question becomes almost impossible to ignore. What if where that awareness goes isn't nowhere? What if dreams are another layer of reality, not a metaphorical one, not a poetic one, a possibility some philosophers and researchers take seriously enough to keep investigating, even without proof? Here's the idea. Right now, your consciousness is anchored to your body, your senses, your physical brain, but every night that anchor loosens. Your body goes still. Your eyes stop responding to the room around you, and your awareness goes somewhere else. The mainstream explanation is that this somewhere else is purely internal. Memories, emotions, and random neural firing stitched together by a meaning-making brain. That explanation is well supported and widely accepted, but it doesn't explain everything. It doesn't fully explain why some people report dreaming about real future events in vague, generalized ways days before they happen, a phenomenon studied under the term precognitive dreaming, with results that remain statistically inconclusive but persistently reported across cultures and centuries. It doesn't explain why some couples, family members, or close friends report having had similar or overlapping dreams on the same night without any contact beforehand. Psychologists call this a shared dream experience. There's no confirmed mechanism, just consistent anecdotal reports, generation after generation, culture after culture, and it doesn't explain the most unsettling experience of all: the false awakening. A false awakening is exactly what it sounds like. You dream that you've woken up. You get out of bed. You walk to the bathroom. You see your room, exactly as it should look. Everything feels normal until something breaks the illusion and you realize, with a jolt of disorientation, that you were still asleep the entire time. Some people report multiple false awakenings, stacked one inside another, like nested rooms, each one feeling completely real until the next one reveals it wasn't. If your brain can construct a false version of waking reality so convincing that you cannot tell the difference, what makes you certain that the reality you're in right now isn't simply a deeper layer of the same thing? This is where the philosophical questions become unavoidable. What if dreams allow access to alternate versions of yourself? Versions that made different choices, versions living different lives, in environments your waking mind has never consciously seen, but somehow renders in perfect, instant detail. What if the you that exists while dreaming isn't a passive viewer, but an active visitor, stepping into a layer of experience your waking mind simply doesn't have language for? These are not proven scientific claims. They're open philosophical questions, the kind serious researchers raise specifically because dreams remain so deeply unexplained. What we do know is this: dreaming is not lesser reality. It is neurologically an entire alternate operating mode of human consciousness, one your brain enters every single night, generating entire sensory worlds with no external input at all. That alone should unsettle you more than it does. Because if your mind can build entire universes from nothing every single night, universes detailed enough to fool you completely, the question is no longer whether dreams feel real. The question is whether reality is the only thing that's real. What if tonight, when you close your eyes, you're not escaping reality? What if you're entering another one? Would you want to know the truth? So, what do you think? Leave your theory below. Subscribe for more impossible questions.